Man, it is Friday night. You know what fucking time it is.
Yeet.
Tonight we talking SmackDown. We're talking Raw. And man, we're gonna talk Vince McMahon as well. That docu-series came out. We're gonna break it down. Stay tuned.
Sun's coming up as you look to the skies, go down to the water and bathe in the light. Oh my love, oh my love. Angels will sing, whisper words of the heart as I'm holding you close. Keep a shelter from the dark. Oh my love, oh my love. Hold your breath.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up, my man?
Oh, it's another beautiful Friday night.
I know. Hey, we made it through the storm.
Oh yeah. Big shout out. Excuse me. Big shout out to all the first responders, all the linemen, all the volunteers that were lined up, ready and waiting, coming from other places, and unbeknownst to us, it come through the Perry, Florida area, actually leveled my hometown of Tifton, Georgia, and had massive flooding all the way up through Tennessee. So big shout out to everybody that made it through the storm, and prayers up for everybody that's can continue to try to rebuild what was life for them.
Absolutely, man. And we talked about it a little bit off script. And I just want to say this. When they tell you to evacuate, evacuate. When they tell you don't cross the bridge, don't cross the fucking bridge. When they tell you don't play in the fucking storm, don't play in the storm. If you do not follow the rules like that, like, I get it, bro. I'm one of those. I love going out and having a little bit of fun in a hurricane, checking out the wind, seeing damage, stuff like that. But I know my limits. When you're one of those out doing dumb shit, if you get stuck, you should just be stuck, bro. First responders should not be responsible for your stupidity. They really do need to be focusing on those who actually need it instead of your dumbass because you decided to go, fucking skimboarding down Bayshore when they told you go home. Just my opinion.
It's funny, we're going through this because, a lot of people have been through a lot of things and close calls. But let me be the first one to say that I was in Savannah, Georgia, the afternoon that Hurricane Michael hit my town of Panama City, and my mother and father, with my brother, were in their home. At the time of the storm, my dad was stuck at the door. My brother had to jerk him out the door, close the door. It was a French door. They got to the couches. There were two couches, and they folded them over kind of like a pyramid style. The roof was completely ripped off. The garage fell in. The wall that was attached to the garage fell in, and they were under about 4 feet of insulation all throughout the house. The roof was never officially located anywhere in the neighborhood. But that was at the time the worst storm to ever hit the coastal land of America. It was a Category 5. It was still a hurricane in the middle of Georgia. That's how bad it was. The same as this storm. Fortunately, this storm specifically sped up a lot the last portion before it hit land, so it didn't have that time to intensify even more. But it was a very powerful storm, and it leveled a few places. But like the one thing I know, it's category 3 or more. If you're worried about your stuff, you should have already had renter's insurance or homeowner's insurance. Outside of that, your life and everybody else's is not worth it. That's my little take on it. But like the people suffering right now, just know that you aren't alone and know that there's people out there.
Hey, absolutely, man. Like, I don't know. I'm glad being a Floridian. I've dealt with Irma. I've browsed around for the Fabulous Four in 2004, followed by Katrina skating right past us, bro. Like, I remember the wind. I am happy we got missed, bro. That's all I'm gonna say. And
Yeah, this
anybody
area
wants to
could have
argue?
been it could have been worse. We got blessed here.
Yeah, we did. Now, moving on to other things, bro. Moving on to bigger, better things. SmackDown tonight was pretty fire.
Dude, the Blue Brand's been doing awesome here lately.
I mean, think about it. We literally are having turmoil over Cody and Roman teaming up. Did you ever think you'd see that?
Not for a long time.
I mean,
Like I didn't see this coming.
how do you feel though? Like,
Look, I
think that
think it's very intriguing that they used Cody and Roman, who you still see the animosity between them. Roman doesn't respect Cody, in my opinion. And I think it's the other way around. I think Cody respects Roman, but I also feel that, you know, with this match, you're going to, I believe, build up without even, because you're still months away from these two guys fighting, I think. I see them Royal Rumble at the soonest being, the match that they get, and even holding off until building it up till WrestleMania. Um, Maybe Roman wins the Rumble, you know. That could be.
ooh,
I think he actually is owed. If you think about it, he's probably owed a rematch.
well, I
Um,
don't know, man. See, that's the thing, bro, because you mentioned a rematch clause. I remember, I do believe it was like 2, 3 years ago, they had made that, there's no longer a rematch. You lose the title, you go to the back of the line. But at the same token, you see title feuds happen, last for a hot minute, bro. Like I speak one in particular, we'll get into it. Jay Uso, Braun Breaker.
whoop, ye
Yeah, we'll get into it. And you know what? I have a take that you may not like.
okay. I can't wait till we get to it.
Yeah, but
But look,
stick.
something else I'm looking forward to on this Blue Brand next week is this tag team title ladder match.
Yeah, who you saying comes away with it?
Oh,
I want to say, bro, just because I feel that it's long overdue. It's time to put it back on Street Profits.
I'm like I can't see. Here's my thing. The next title change has to be Street Profits, in my opinion. I mean, DIY is good, but I don't think they have the longevity like the Man, the Street Profits can turn it into a reign just like the Usos had. I mean, very similar tag team, very
Think
similar
about it,
character.
man. Think about when the Profits got up on the roster in the beginning. Were they
Bro, they
not?
dominated.
I was gonna say, were they not doing it like the Usos, doing it like the
Yeah,
New Day?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like for some reason they fell off, whatever the reasoning was, maybe they had some chemistry. Who knows? bad storylines with Bobby Lashley for months on end.
I mean, you got to think there was that rumbling for a minute of Montez going single.
Yeah. And not to mention that he was highly interested in going UFC and fighting
Well,
MMA.
and I mean, not to really speculate and do all that because definitely a fan of the Prophet. But
Yeah.
here, my thought process, and I'm guessing on it. The reason we didn't get a Montez Ford singles push, they couldn't figure out what to do with Dawkins.
Yeah, but you can't just throw him to the side. The dude's fucking talented.
Exactly. And I think that's a big reason why they didn't do it.
But look,
They
they're
did.
also the kind of tag team that you can see in 4 years still contending for, the tag team championship. That's the kind of longevity,
I mean,
this particular tag team has.
There's a type of tag team. Truthfully, man, I could
I think
see
they're the best
both.
one in the WWE.
I could see them being one to go tag titles and hold a singles title at the same time.
Yeah, I could see Montez pulling a singles title at the same time.
I could see them both doing it. Montez World Champion,
Ooh,
Dawkins Intercontinental,
holy shit! Listen to you.
or Montez WWE Champion, Dawkins
In my
US
opinion,
Champion.
I think Dawkins can be a good singles wrestler, but it's going to take time for him to grow into his own. He's that like the chemistry between these two remind me of Harlem Heat. Like
Yeah,
they know exactly what the other one's going to do. Exactly. It was
yeah,
crazy.
I will go with that. If we wanted to do that, I will say yes. They easily could have been another Harlem Heat.
Because look, both of them boys can put on a show, but let's be real, both of them can beat the shit out of somebody too.
Yeah, and I mean again, I guess maybe we're under the agreement. Throw them titles back on the Street Profits.
I agree.
Throw them back on. Let's have some fun now. Keeping the tag team thing alive. I mentioned it earlier. The New Day. There could be some cracks in their shit, my man.
Is it time?
But
I
I
mean, that's my
mean,
question. Is it time? Yeah, I mean, you could presumptively retire Big E. It would be an edge situation if he comes back. Um, so from that perspective, I really buy into not replacing Big E. That team was such a standard with just those three for all those years. You can't replace them.
and seeing that's where if you listen to Xavier, maybe we were correct when they had Odyssey Jones. Maybe he was supposed to be that big hitter element that they lost with Big E.
Yeah. But look, everything happens for a reason.
It does. So again, is it time for them to split?
I think so. I think this should be the end. I think they're both talented singles wrestlers. I still think Kofi's got it. I really don't. I have a hard time buying into him in the world tag or the world title picture just because it shifted a lot to the heavyweights. There's a lot of heavyweights in the WWE, and like I can totally see him being an intercontinental or a U.S. champion for and having a legitimate reign. Um, Xavier Woods, he'd really have to build the character and I think separate his identity. You could keep Kofi on the same path that he's always been and aligned in that same mantra of, the New Day. But as far as Xavier Woods, I think he would need a rebranding.
I agree, and to an extent. If Xavier Woods wants to be taken serious, yeah, I don't know if it's a repackage or he really just needs to show. Because I mean, you think about it, man. Like he's always just been that other guy.
Yeah.
He could easily show he is that dude. And it's just been one of those. I haven't had the opportunity to showcase it. I honestly believe as well that whole sex tape really did, I guess, hold him down more than anything.
Yeah.
And then when he started doing the gaming and dealing with the injuries, I think they lost all faith in
I agree.
Xavier Woods.
Yeah. I mean, and again, we're in a new time, so building back up is something that can be done. He has an opportunity to, as long as he's with the company, to better himself. There's no doubt in your mind about that. I mean, that's just the way the company's run right now. They're going to give you a shot if you put the work in.
Absolutely. Now, the one thing I do want to bring up that I find really interesting is when Kofi tried to reason with Xavier after Xavier went after Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
The whole, oh, so you're siding with the world champion because you're a former world champion.
Right.
That kind of, right. When Kofi won that title, I knew that was going to happen down the line. But is it Kofi's fault or is it Xavier's fault? Because look at Big E. He made it happen for himself.
Yeah.
And he didn't break away from the New Day either.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. I think they could definitely use the envy role and envy side of this in the storyline, because you look at the other two, they both did it, and to be fair, they did it individually. They didn't have a lot of help. Big E won it legitimately. Kofi won it legitimately.
Yeah,
They
I was
both
gonna say,
lost it legitimately.
if you think about when New Day was involved with either Big E or Kofi during those title runs, it wasn't like they were cheating to win, nothing like that. There was none of that foul play. So maybe you know what, man? Thinking about it as well while we're talking, maybe this is let me see your intensity. Let me see
Yeah.
that you're worth being a world champion. Maybe we're reading it wrong. Maybe it's coming off wrong. I don't know.
It's got me intrigued to see where it goes. I know that much.
Absolutely. Now, we're going to talk a couple more things with Raw, but I'm going to stay on the name Mysterio for a minute because I feel we hit the jackpot in this fantasy booking. You might be onto something, my man, when you say that they are listening to us. Dominic
the real thing.
Mysterio was confirmed on Monday that he will be a part of the Women's World Championship match between Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. But he ain't going to be in a corner. No, my man. High above the ring. 20 years ago, there was a piece of paper in the briefcase.
Yeah.
For custody of Dominic. On October 5th, high above the ring, will not be a piece of paper. It will be the man himself, Dirty Dominic Mysterio.
One of the best heels in the business.
Hanging in a shark cage. Why do I really feel that you were onto something? Because I feel we were the only ones crazy enough to say, hey, put this little guy in a motherfucking shark cage above the ring, knowing damn well it wasn't going to happen.
Damned if it didn't.
Bad moves. How high do you think they suspend him?
15, 20 feet.
And is this one of those you got to climb the ladder to open the cage?
You know, maybe it's one of those that they put the cage above the stage.
No, they said he was going to be above the ring.
If he's above the ring, I'd probably put him probably the same height as one of the Money in the Bank. What is that, 15 feet above the center of the ring?
That's what I'm saying. So is it you got a 10?
You can bet he's going to have something stashed on him to be able to drop the Liv, though. Guarantee that.
You can bet that there's going to be a ladder involved, and Rhea climbs it and whips his ass.
Dude, like, if she could get a kendo stick and start poking him.
Not even poking him, bro. Completely.
Kind of like they did Ragnarok into the Vikings.
Yeah.
This is going to be an entertaining match, let me tell you what, bro. Because those two ladies are going to beat the shit out of each other for one, just straight up.
And on top of that, Dom is hanging in a cage above the ring. Like you can't get any better than that, man. Like whoever wrote that in creative, thank you for listening.
Absolutely. We were speaking. I promise you we are every week.
Now, one thing I can't wait for before Bad Blood, man, is this Monday night coming up. One thing I'm looking forward to is the last monster standing match when Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed go one-on-one. Bro, this shit's gonna be fucking great.
I mean, can they finish the match? That's my question.
I mean,
they've got a bad start.
When the tsunami through the caddy happened, wasn't that supposed to be a last man standing match? Or am I completely misunderstanding?
No, I don't think that one was.
Or was that a street fight?
Street fight.
Or honestly, or was that even or was that just a regular match?
I mean, it could. I can't remember.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I like it. Don't get me wrong, bro. Like, I'm all for it. Give me more of that shit. Give me more Braun and Braun. Or Bronson. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But
I agree. Those two can put on a hell of a show, I think.
Like, dude, does it culminate at Bad Blood though? Does it not even finish on Raw, and we have to finish it on the kickoff show or something?
No, I really believe that they're going to have a conclusion Whether it's the end of the story or not is a different. But there's going to be a conclusion to this first portion because one of them has to win. Um, but they've been fighting so much, but really haven't gained any ground individually in the feud. And I think one of them has to walk away a winner.
I mean, bro, they are both legit doing the on site.
I am so stoked that they actually got Braun Strowman in something that works.
Yeah, like, bro, it's not him picking on somebody 100 pounds less.
Yeah, it's just it was hard. It was difficult to keep up with that.
And I mean, dog, if you think about it, Bronson Reed is bigger than Braun Strowman.
Yeah, yeah, you can argue that
Fun
for
fact.
sure.
Fun fact.
Uh-huh.
Vita Vea is bigger than Bronson Reed.
Jesus crikey.
Yeah, right? Bro, I read, because we just wanted to look it up one night. And Vita is bigger. I mean, he's got a little bit more height and the
But
weight.
damn,
But yeah, that's
because
just a
Bronson
testament.
Reed is a big-barreled mother son of a gun.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about, bro. Like, for that to be the case, Vita's fucking solid and a half.
Yeah, we need Vita Sunday. Sorry, I just need to say that out loud.
Yeah, I just thought I'd throw that out there.
It's a fun
Now,
fact for sure.
yeah. Here's another fun fact for you. Jey Uso has won his first singles championship. Yeet.
Yeet. Way overdue.
Ah, bro, hella way overdue.
14 years. And he spent the last 4 capable of carrying a singles title belt.
That's what I'm saying. And you know what's crazy, bro? We talked about this a couple weeks ago. Tell me this doesn't feel like Braun Breaker. Tell me they didn't just recycle this, and tell me they didn't just recycle Braun Breaker in the LA Knight storyline.
Eesh. I mean, now that you put it that way.
I mean, it's kind of hard not to put it that way.
I mean, but let's be fair about it. We're talking about Jey Uso. It damn sure wasn't a squash match. The guy, he's legitimately, with that loss, being where he is in his career, can easily pick up from that. Without a question, he can pick up from that. Does he come back for a rematch soon? I think sooner rather than later.
I feel you have to do it sooner rather than later.
You might do it at Bad Blood.
Ooh. Talk dirty.
Shit. Because look, that was a hell of a match. Can you imagine the chemistry building after a few matches with that? Holy shit. For real.
Oh, now, here's a little video that I want to show. Speaking of Jay.
Mommy putting in that side work.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Mommy hits some side quest right now. I got first and foremost, bro. A couple months ago, when Finn Balor talked about this, man, It was no. And I love how slowly we've gotten this.
Oh
And it's
yeah,
not even like, and it's not
they've
even a
dribbled it.
relationship storyline though, bro. And it's awesome.
No, not even. I
Like,
mean,
bro,
which at the same time, you could say that if you're not like an intense fan, one could argue that they might not know that Jey Uso's legitimately married. You would think so, looking at his, stature. As long as he's been in the business, you would definitely think. Hell, his brother's married to a wrestler. But
yeah,
at the same time, you also know everybody that knows mommy and know who she's with and who her side boo was. And she's obviously known to have side boos. So, but it's not that. Like you could see they keep it like on the direct friendship thing when they're on camera together. It's kind of funny the way they do it. But it's really cool how they've dabbled it in little by little, like you brought up.
and I mean, now look at it. You got Jay with a singles title. Think of where we can go from there. Personally, I'm gonna go ahead and throw it out there. Sam Balor, Jey Uso for Intercontinental title.
Oh,
It's
that's
coming.
coming. Yeah, that's
It's
coming.
coming real quick. Or Damian Priest takes the title from Jey Uso. Becomes a grand
No.
becomes a Grand Slam champion.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you. He gonna hold on to that belt for 6 months or longer.
Really, you think so?
Yep. Dude, think about this. Look at what they've invested in this guy in the last couple of years, right? They started him off calling him main event Jey Uso. And then he fast forwarded through time, he comes to being the icebreaker of the beginning of the downfall of Roman Reigns, right?
Yeah.
And he loses, like you watched in the vignette, he loses his brother, you know, he loses his cousin, he loses his other brother. Like it's just him. You're 14 fucking years, and you're telling me in 60 to 90 days they're gonna take the title off him? Fuck that. That's my opinion on it. That's just what I see. I'm not a guru. Bullshit. I'm a guru. Um,
Uh, you know what?
but but I really believe that they've got to give that guy his fucking flowers, and 60 to 90 days is not enough.
I mean, I'm gonna. I'll agree with you, but I'm gonna disagree because I'm gonna say I can see him taking it off him sooner for one or two reasons. Either he loses the crowd, or he takes it to the next level, elevates his character, elevates everything, and becomes main event. And possibly take Gunther's world heavyweight title from him, like I said.
Okay, now if you're talking taking the title with the immediate follow up of building into a world title shot, but are they gonna? Wait a minute.
You could. Just tell me, bro, you really, as a fan, at all, are you fully vested in Gunther as your world champion?
Um, Looking at the roster on Raw, looking at what time of the year it is, you've got 3 months left. One could argue that by the time they get to January, you'd probably want the flashiest of the flashiest on those titles when they make that shift. When the paradigm, flips, it's it's going to be a spectacle. And you know, he he being Gunther kind of gives me the um like, I think he's a legit champion. I think he's a legit world champion, heavyweight champion per se. There's no doubt about it. I don't think there's enough fear with him being a heel, so I can support a different champion being in that position when they make this change or soon after. So, I can buy that.
What about Jey Uso as world champion when you go Raw to Netflix?
That's the ideal. I mean, you're looking at Raw, you've got a few contenders over there for sure. You got CM Punk, you got Drew McIntyre, but again, you can't fucking you can't compete with Yeet right now on Raw. Like, CM Punk, but like, whether you're a heel lover, whether you're a babyface lover, whether you're a kid, whether you're an old man that just likes the combat in the ring, everybody fucking loves Jey Uso. Everybody. He's like John Cena on crack when it comes to popularity right now. Right now. So to be fair about it, that's the perfect face of the franchise per se. To pull a football term, he's the perfect face of the franchise as far as WWE. That if you had me picking, he would be one of the top of the list moving into the Netflix era.
I'm not. You know what, bro? I am not disagreeing with that, and I'll say that as a Uso fan. I don't give a shit.
I've been a Oos for fucking ever.
Down since day one.
I'm trying to tell you.
Now, let's get into this next topic, man, because this is probably going to take a hot minute. I know you haven't really caught much of it, but Netflix finally released the Vince McMahon docuseries, Mr. McMahon. What did we learn though? I got you. First things first. I got a question for you.
Okay.
That they were asking in the documentary, and very few people, except one, Tony Atlas, was able to answer this. What will Vince McMahon's legacy be remembered by?
Ooh. Whatever this is, okay, and I'm gonna leave the legal courts to still give their opportunity, and me being just an insatiable fan of wrestling who has a more than higher than average intellect of the business and the industry altogether. I honestly will right now separate that into two answers. It's a two-part answer. Let me rephrase. If you're asking me, the wrestling fan, he was probably the greatest promoter of all time who spent too much time in control. Um, if you want to compare it let's compare it to this guy. All right, you know who Roy Jones Jr. is, right?
Yes, sir.
The
Body and finger.
the greatest pound for pound boxer I feel. If you want to compare, time frames to time frames. If
I
you take
believe,
the
hey, speaking of that, I believe you put Roy Jones Jr. and Floyd Mayweather in a ring in their prime, and,
he
Roy
eats that
Jones put,
motherfucker alive, dude.
Roy Jones putting out one in that L column.
Dude, he would eat Mayweather a fucking alive. Now, that being said, he was the epitome of hang it the fuck up already. He got in about 7 boxing matches that literally tarnished his legacy.
Yeah.
It made him look normal. And what this dude did in the first 2 years of his boxing career, if you knew anything, and I'm very familiar with him for two reasons. One, he's from Pensacola, Florida. When we moved from Georgia, my dad got a promotion, got transferred. It was to Pensacola. It was right outside of Pensacola is where we lived in Milton. But he drove to Pensacola to work. They were putting his business on the market, which was Flowers Bake Company, bread company. Well, coincidentally enough, I am 12 years old, 13 years old, and they have those day old bread stores, right? Well, Roy Jones Jr., dad, owned a chicken farm. And look, Roy Jones Jr. loved boxing, but his passion was fighting roosters, bro. He loved fighting cocks, and no pun intended. But for real though,
What, no
that was.
sword fighting?
But that was I actually my dad got invited. My mom and dad got invited out to dinner by his dad at his property, at his dad's property. Well,
You
who's
say it was
there?
a sword fight contest?
Who's there but Roy Jones Jr. And at that point, I'm not a huge boxing fan, and I love combat sports, but because of what the money did to the sport, I really stayed away from boxing. But I followed those big names: Muhammad Ali, George Foreman, all those guys, Mike Tyson, Vander Holyfield, all those guys. But it stuck. Roy Jones stuck with me, and then watching his career, but watching those last 7 matches, it just almost tarnished his legacy. And for me, saying all that to say this, I believe from if I'm separating this and still waiting out to hear what I know a little bit, and you could piece together, and we're not fools, but at the same time, I want to hear it all. I want to hear it all. I want to see it all. I want to know the whole fucking story. But if you want me to segregate that, that's how I'm segregating it. Still, he was a promoter who stayed in charge way too long. And I say way too long. You're talking 2005 to 2010. He should have been out of there.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as the control of the ongoing week in and week out, not that he couldn't have a part of the company, but that day in and day out control needed to be given to somebody else. And to be fair, even though everybody predicted even back then it was going to be Triple H, and look at where we're at today. But he still wasn't ready at that time. To be fair, so who do you put in there? Paul Heyman. You could have put Paul Heyman in that chair. Absolutely, Paul Heyman could have run the fucking company easily. But I also don't think that Vince would have agreed with the direction, and that was part of it. Vince McMahon is the Jerry Jones of wrestling. How about that? How about that?
Yeah,
How about that?
absolutely. But here's my thing, though. When you want to talk about the greatest promoter, he absolutely was, bro. Like, hands down, probably the greatest promoter.
WWE,
But
we wouldn't be in wrestling where we are today without him, in my opinion.
one thing they talked about, though, was the greed. And, you know, it's crazy. When you think back to it, it really was, man. Like, one, he easily, for years, insulted fans' intelligence with shitty gimmicks.
Yep.
And then now look, man, like the steroid era. How many scandals? Bro, like the list goes on. I think the shit that has gone on, the way the shit he has done within the time as a booker is what's gonna turn the shit. Like, yes,
Oh yeah.
was he a great booker, or did he just have outstanding talent that put him where he is?
I mean, it's just like a lawyer. I personally believe that in the end, the writers of the show are what make the writers, and the athletes are what make the show. Without the writers, it would just be two guys being athletic in the ring. And not many people go to a college or high school wrestling tournament, right? Okay, just follow me
Agreed.
here. All right, so without the writers enabling the characters, being the wrestlers, to portray this story without having to like watch TV or read a book or watch a movie,
Yeah,
we still get that story out of it. Now, the athletes, without the athletes to be able to perform and to even go further than performing in the ring, now you have to be able to fucking act. Like, you have to be able to draw the fucking crowd in. You have to be able to do all these things. So, like, from that perspective, the promoter's just the freaking director. Because to me, the producer and the actors are the best part of a show.
yeah. But again, would Vince and WWE have succeeded? Like, they even talk about it, man. Like, had it not been for The Rock, for Stone Cold, for The Undertaker,
They'd have been shit for a lot longer, I agree. I think.
bro, WCW would have eventually put him out. WCW would have went out of business themselves. Not that, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and try to protect WCW and act like they were going to thrive. Because they did the same shit, bro. And Eric Bischoff even admitted to it in this thing.
Bro, the NWO was the beginning of the end of WCW.
Man, he said he was so far ahead that he wasn't even worried about them catching up. And by the time they caught up, it was too late. There was nothing
Oh,
they
yeah.
could do.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but you go back and watch some of those documentaries. You watch Sting one for sure, the Lex Luger one. They'll tell you, money wise, Ted Turner couldn't handle it. He couldn't maintain what he needed to maintain just from paying the wrestlers,
Yeah.
much less the production of the show. Paying the wrestlers, he couldn't keep. Like, dude, the McMahons were loaded in the '80s, and they're like, Jesus, 6 generations loaded now.
Yeah, but the one thing that stuck out to me, bro, was when they brought up the story when he brought up the steroid scandal, it was basically out loud pushing, like admitting Vince was pushing it without saying he told them to take it.
Yeah.
You know, and the one thing that, sticking with that part with the steroids, they brought up, they mentioned the Chris Benoit incident. They mentioned CTE in the same breath. Vince don't believe in concussions.
That's funny.
He doesn't believe CTE is real.
That's a crock of shit.
Basically, what he is telling everybody is the guys that say they had a concussion were playing it.
Bro, first off, as a 15-year-old watching Benoit dive head first, and who gives a fuck if he's not hitting the guy? He's bashing his head from fucking 14, 15 feet in the air at a moderately high rate of speed.
Well, I mean, bro, as a
How many
Benoit
times?
fan, as a Benoit fan back in the day, man, like I can't
Even
tell
I
you,
question that.
wrestling my little brother. The one move that a lot of us did, bro, was the diving headbutt.
Yeah.
How many times did we see Benoit go across the ring with it?
Jesus. A million times
bro,
I saw him do that.
not to mention originally, man, like, let's talk about how that diving headbutt was in the beginning of his career. It was literally him falling straight down on the dude.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that didn't have an impact. And they even showed footage of him being dropped on his dome.
Yes.
I'm sorry, man. If I'm in that line of work, I don't care if it's football. I don't care if it's what sport, what line of work. If I have a concussion, and I'm going to use the concussion because this is what we're on. If I have a concussion, I suffer a concussion while at work, and my boss looks at me and says, "You're not concussed." I'm telling you, bro, it's over. You know what, man? After watching this documentary, I hope this motherfucker fries. I hope he's in a chair next to Diddy and fries. And it's crazy, man. All these little self-made millionaire ass motherfuckers. Weird how they're going down all of a sudden now, huh?
Yes. Not weird. More like
Karma.
yeah. You stole the word out of my mouth. It's just karma coming back at him.
Now, lawsuit wise, real quick, one thing we learned: Brock Lesnar. His name was actually dropped.
Oof.
It's big news.
In what kind of context?
That when Vince was doing sex trafficking, there was a particular wrestler in 2001 they were trying to re-sign, and they out loud said that wrestler in conversation is being speculated as Brock Lesnar. Lesnar did not was not part of the series, did not partake. They did not get a comment. The one thing I find kind of ironic, Vince sat down the whole time. I don't like to talk about myself, but talked about himself. Has no problem talking about it. But they even stated after the allegations came up, he refused the interview. Tell me if you're Vince McMahon, man, you are not sure. You're gonna, hey, I didn't do it. Tell me you wouldn't. This man is known to be more outlandish and loud than Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And you mean to tell me you're silent?
That's kind of
Donald
surprising.
Trump, bro. Donald Trump was knowingly guilty for finger banging a fucking porn star. Was told to shut up about it and was like, yeah, I didn't do that. They're lying. Come on, man. You think Vince is shutting the fuck up? One
I
thing
think you got a good point.
one thing I think everybody needs to take heed on is he had admitted that Vince McMahon and Mr. McMahon, the character, are two different things, the complete opposite. He also states that although they're two complete opposite characters, people, personalities, he has no idea which one is him and which one is the Mr. McMahon. It's kind of weird, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's almost like an actor taking over a character's role and being stuck and lost in that character.
Or that, or hear me out on something, because
Maybe
it's
it's just
Vince,
events.
it's Vince McMahon we're talking about. If you're telling me that at this point you don't know the difference between Vince McMahon and Mr. McMahon, if Mr. McMahon is that deranged asshole deviant that in the beginning of the docu-series you said is exactly opposite of who you really are. But now you're telling me you don't know what's different? How do I know that you didn't pimp out Janelle Grant, the Brock Lesnar, and John Laurinaitis? How am I supposed to believe you as a juror, as a member of the WWE universe?
Yeah, that's kind of hard to buy.
I mean, like, all in all, man, like, how am I supposed to take that? Oh no, he's just old. Man, it makes sense why. Hey, it also explains why Shane left too.
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't blame him.
Speaking of Shane McMahon, he was just coincidentally on a plane flight with the Young Bucks the other day.
Yeah, he's been back and forth with AEW, rumoring right now. How crazy would it be, bro? That with Vince out of the picture. What if Shane is that bridge? Like, hey man, I could help you work with Triple H.
I think personally that's the best option for the wrestling industry right now, is for him to be that bridge.
Yeah, like that's the one reason, man. Vince said that he wasn't gonna let Shane take over. He's too nice. But maybe that's what we need in a way.
Yeah.
As crazy as this shit sounds, bro, maybe that's what we need.
The forbidden door needs to be bashed wide open.
Yeah, yeah. Next time they use that Forbidden Door name, it'll legit be a Forbidden Door. It'll be that door you never thought was gonna be crossed.
Right?
I
can't wait. I can't wait for the rest of this docuseries to unfold.
Well, from what I'm seeing, it's only the 4 or 5 episodes. It definitely sheds some light, but the one thing that I learned from it is I have more questions than answers. You know, and I guess maybe there was only a certain thing they could do. You know, once they lost having Vince as that interview guy,
Yeah.
but you know, it's just it's insane, man. So hearing all that, I'm gonna ask you again: what's Vince McMahon's legacy gonna be?
It's not going to be good. You know, in the end, I think if all of this comes to light that we're expecting to come to light, to be accurate, like we're assuming, to be accurate, it's probably the worst downfall of one of the most successful men in the world.
Okay, so let me ask something real quick. We exclude Benoit from the Hall of Fame because of what he did, right?
Right?
You take away the allegations for a minute. Everything Vince McMahon has done in what 40, 50 years
Right?
that he's had the company. When I first asked you the question,
Yeah.
it was the best promoter, best booker.
Right.
After this conversation we just had, your tone changed.
Oh yeah.
It was no longer the best booker. Although I'm gonna agree with you, he is probably the best booker in the history of the sport of wrestling. Does he deserve a spot in his own WWE Hall of Fame?
No way in hell. No way in hell.
Okay.
If you want people to even try to acknowledge any legitimacy to that, fuck no. And then you immediately put Chris Benoit in the Hall of Fame. That's me. It's my opinion on it. I believe the guy. You know, you if you've watched Facebook over the last year and you've followed anything wrestling, you've probably seen that clip of Paul Heyman. And, you know, to a strong degree, I agree with what he was saying about that scenario about Chris Benoit, you know, about how Nancy, his wife, and the child never had a
No,
chance.
see, here's my
You
thing.
know, hold on, hear me out. That he never had a choice. But this whole time, I've been a football fan, and I remember watching guys like Junior Seau and shit, and they end up with CTE, and this has been years ago, you know? So, from my perspective, you can't hold Chris Benoit completely accountable for what he did. You have to hold him accountable for not trying to get the help that he could have helped to possibly prevent that. But what he did was a part of the sickness that I believe he was brought on to be based off of the information was forced on him, you know, by his boss.
No, and I get where you're going at with it. But you know, man, this is one of those subjects that it could go either way.
Yeah.
I don't think he deserves a spot in the Hall of Fame because of what he did. Now, taking into consideration with the CTE and everything, you know, I'm all for it. But that would be like say Vince passed away. We get his brain.
I mean, Ray Lewis won a Super Bowl.
No, I understand, but he was found not guilty.
Touche.
He was also found not guilty. I will stand behind Ray Lewis all day on that, bro.
He was found not guilty. There's no doubt about that.
Now, I tell you right now, bro, come down the line, if Vince is found not guilty, I easily put him in the Hall of Fame. If
he's found not guilty, yes.
if you were going to put anybody in the Hall of Fame out of that scenario, I'd put Nancy Benoit. I would absolutely put her in before I put Chris Benoit in.
I can live with that.
I would put a handful of other people that
There's
maybe
a lot of people been kept out.
Well, I was going to say, at that point, you put in a few other people that Vince purposely kept out, looked over, looked past.
Yeah.
Oh, just because. And then we can have that conversation because, dog, as a wrestler, Chris Benoit, he should have been in the Hall of Fame years ago.
Absolutely.
He
If it wasn't for that situation, he would have been in the Hall of Fame years ago.
Dude, I was gonna say, man, had that situation not arrived the way it did, had he just passed away, say it was the same way Eddie did, I would easily say the same year you put Eddie in, you do put Chris in.
No doubt.
Like you have them headed. You know, same like with Bray. If Bray would have passed with the same situation as Chris Benoit, I would easily be standing here telling you Bray Wyatt does not deserve the Hall of Fame. I would have got rid of anything and everything that had to do with any of his personas.
Right.
Because it's that I feel that heavily about it. It's the same thing I feel about Benoit. I agree. The CTE should be taken into consideration when talking about this.
Yeah, I believe that had a major
right
role.
now, though.
But I agree with you.
I still think you don't do it. Now, you hit the 2-decade mark, you hit 20 years, it is okay to move forward. But that is where you have already inducted Nancy, you inducted a few other people, and when you do it, you make it adamant that you are putting in what he was as the wrestler, because he is the last trained wrestler from the Heart Dungeon. So you could easily put him in for something like that nature.
Yeah.
But you don't put him in, and you don't really celebrate the person the way you would everybody else.
Right.
But I'm all right with down the line. You know, like I said, you hit that 20-year anniversary. Maybe it's time.
Yeah.
You know, because man, it's still one of the roughest fucking things to ever hear. You know, we lose Eddie, it's a heart attack, and we're like, wow, we know what it was from. And
Yeah.
None of us, anybody of that age, any male of that age, knowing what wrestling was, bro, understood why Eddie Guerrero had that heart attack. Hands down. That being said, had Chris Benoit passed the same way, it'd be no different. It'd be no fucking conversation, bro. Put him in. Oh, bro, that turned the world up. That turned the entire industry upside down.
Yeah, that.
Granted, they changed it for the better.
Yeah, it made him think about head injuries a hell of a lot more.
Exactly. So now, if you were to induct Chris Benoit in any way, maybe you recognize his death as being the reason
Yeah,
that you guys are paying attention, that you guys are giving a damn.
no doubt.
I'm alright with it at that point. Like there's nothing I could argue with. I still am really uneasy with the fact of hearing that Vince McMahon did not take concussions serious.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
You know, the Undertaker's WrestleMania match, and I do believe it was the one against Brock.
Brock, yeah,
Wrestled the entire thing concussed. Does not remember it, and Vince is out loud. I don't believe he was concussed. I just think he doesn't, want to remember that match because he knew he was losing. That the streak was breaking that night. Like, I'm sorry, man. That's narcissistic as a motherfucker.
absolutely is, bro.
Like, there's no other fuck, bro. There's no explanation that makes sense. So, but that being said, man, I'm ready to see what the outcome is overall with this Vince McMahon trial. It'll be
Yeah,
very, very interesting to see what comes to light in the investigation because the lawsuit's paused while the FBI investigates.
yeah. This is gonna be drawn out process, a very long process, and all the information that we're gonna be able to get behind it is gonna be dribbled at us little by little.
Yeah, and you know what, man? I hope WWE survives at the end of the day. I hope that the sale
Look,
of
they separated
TKO.
themselves. They
I
separated
was
themselves from him just in time.
I was gonna say I hope what they're doing and what they've done has been enough because this could get real ugly, bro. Think about the people that knew. Think about the people that were around, that are still around.
Yep.
Some crazy shit could pop off.
Oh yeah, very unpredictable situation for sure.
But for tonight, man, that's really all I got topic wise. Is there anything that you come across that you feel we should talk about?
As far as wrestling, no, I don't have any more, surprises. We really hit all the main topics. Moving forward, you know, there's we covered a lot. um, the culmination of bad blood and this buildup over the last few weeks is definitely going to come to a head next Saturday. So be on the lookout for that.
Oh, absolutely, and we'll be doing a heel turn Friday night, and I'm thinking, man, we might just do a pre-show for Bad Blood as well.
As of right now, I'd be down for that.
I'm saying, because why not? If not a pre-show, a post-show.
Yeah, one of the two for sure.
Actually, I think we might do that. I think we might do a heel turn that Friday night, give our predictions, and then we'll be back on the air following Bad Blood.
That sounds like a plan to me.
That way we can go on into detail and some shit. That being said, you can catch me and Derek Sunday morning at 11 a.m. for the Plunder pregame show as we preview the Bucks and the Eagles. And then you can also catch us next Thursday at
Next Thursday is
7:30.
going to be a special time. Special time.
Oh yeah,
6:30.
Oh, okay, you're
6:30
right. I
because
forgot Thursday night football.
yeah, we have a Thursday night football game, so I'm going to wrap the regular episode of Plunder and do a little pregame at the same time before the Thursday night game for the Buccaneers.
And we're in Atlanta for that, aren't we?
Yes, sir.
Thought so. All right. Well, we'll talk more Sunday.
Yes, sir,
And,
man. You have a good evening.
Yes, sir. I will talk to you Sunday, and everybody else, man. Y'all be safe. And don't forget to love each other and hug each other, man. This world's already fucked up enough.
Amen to that, brother.
Why y'all looking so stupid? Y'all better get with the movement.